President Biden is speaking to the nation right now. And it is expected he is going to announce in his six-pronged plan to stop the spread of COVID, a mandate on all federal workers and contractors. Now, earlier today, there were reports coming out saying the Biden administration will require all companies with 100 or more employees to mandate vaccination or weekly testing. With the Biden administration pushing vaccine mandates so hard on all Americans, is it any wonder they're getting pushback from American citizens? With me now to talk about the Biden administration's crusade to stick it, that is the vaccine, to every American in the nation, is U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn from the great state of Tennessee. Senator, welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Good to join you. Thank you.
Senator, I'm going to jump right into this. The president right now speaking, saying he's going to force all federal workers and contractors to be vaccinated.
There should always be an exemption for medical or religious reasons. And Tony, I tell people, talk to their physician. I know several people who their physician has said, you should not take the mandate. You need to just be very, very careful, stay away from groups, but you cannot take this vaccine. So you need to talk to your physician about this. Now, there are others for religious reasons. And with our military, we have always had the exemption policy that should continue. And to think that you can force people to get a vaccine against their will, force them to divulge their health information against their will. Are we going to do away with the health privacy laws, HIPAA? Are we going to force people every time they want to go somewhere to show a vaccine mandate card, a vaccine proof of vaccination? This is something that we need to look very carefully at, because this should be something that you decide with your physician, not with a bureaucrat, not by the president of the United States or a federal agency. It should be a healthcare decision that you and your physician make.
I agree 100%. And I've said this before on the program. I am not anti-vaccine. I am pro-choice, that people should be able to make the choice as to whether or not they're going to get this vaccine. It's interesting how we don't get choices in certain things. But here's the one of the things that really concerns a lot of Americans who are watching this, that there is no accommodation for natural immunity. Those who have had this, that's not factoring into the government's equation in any form or fashion. It's one size fits all. And I think the more they push it, the more resistance they're going to find.
Absolutely, because they're trying to do one size fits all, whether it is getting a vaccine, whether it is your child's education in the classroom, whether it is so many other components that are related to the federal government. They want one size fits all for all forms of healthcare. They want one size fits all for the way they're going to deal with the states, with local governments. This is just their way. It's easier to institutionalize, to only have one opinion. But you know what? We call that communism. When you don't allow diversity of thought and you don't allow diversity of opinion or robust, respectful political debate, what you end up with is an authoritarian or totalitarian type state. That is not what is the United States of America. We are a nation of freedom, free people, freedom of choice, but we do not mandate these one size fits all. And I love what you said about the way Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice is going after the state of Texas for their heartbeat bill. Now, you know, they don't want to protect mothers and children and that right to life for unborn children. And then they're turning around and they're saying, well, we're going to mandate this vaccine. You know, are they looking to they're just on all different sides of these issues, but it boils down to the fact that they have a socialistic agenda. And Tony, it doesn't matter if it's dealing with China or Iran or emboldening the IRS to go after people. It is a socialistic agenda. They want power. They want control. And Joe Biden has an America last, power and control for the elites first agenda.
That's the only way you can make sense of this, is that it
Yes.
is a socialistic agenda. Because as
Right.
you said, the contrast, the conflict between the approach to Texas that, you got to give a woman a choice to have an abortion to end the life of an unborn child, but you can't give an
Right.
American a choice whether or not to get a vaccine. It's inconsistent. The other issue that frustrates a lot of Americans and raises red flags is that we're moving the goalposts. Now, I understand we're learning more about this virus as we go along, but they're not factoring that into their mandates. Because look, it was get the vaccine, everything's going to be normal again, no mask, all this, but they're finding the breakthroughs with those who have had the vaccine are getting the Delta variant, while at the same time, those who have natural immunity have a greater resistance to the Delta variant, but they're not talking about that. So they
Oh,
are not
no.
building trust.
They are not following the science. We saw this in the papers that The Intercept revealed on Dr. Fauci this week. He knew what he was doing with gain of function research and knew full well that it was very likely that COVID-19 came from that lab. So did the Chinese Communist Party. But instead of leveling with the American people, Dr. Fauci leveled with the Chinese Communist Party. So you have that little bucket of issues that causes a lot of doubt for people. And then you have the inconsistencies, just as you were saying, get vaccinated, you can go back to your life. But no. They need to run this pandemic out so they can get through the 2022 midterm elections. They're going to need to have those mail out ballots, whether you want it or not, whether you request it or not. They need to be able to lie, cheat, and steal so that they can win. They feel like it worked for them in 2020, so they want to go at it again. But thank goodness we have some states that have stepped up. They have made changes and corrections to their voting laws, and we are working hard to make certain that we do not let H.R. 1 or any of these voting bills pass that would federalize elections.
Senator Blackburn, no question that COVID is an issue. It's an issue with a lot of Americans, and we've got a lot of sick people, and it's something we have to deal with,
Right.
something we have to live with, quite frankly, just as
That's
we do
right.
the flu and everything else. But
That's right.
on the
COVID is not going to go away. COVID is going to
Right.
be with us. The flu
Yes.
is with us. The common cold is with us. There are diseases that are with us. Now, it is a way, the question is, how do we learn to live with this?
Yes,
How do we
right.
accept personal responsibility to protect ourselves and our families and to make certain that we stay healthy? But just as there are some people who cannot take a COVID vaccine, I have those that work on my team that can't take a flu shot. And they know this. Their physician does not give them a flu shot every year because they can't take it. This is why people need to talk with their doctor. I'm vaccinated. I am pro-vaccine. My family is vaccinated. We have some that have natural immunity. We need to learn how long that natural immunity lasts. What kind of memory do those T cells that in MNRA, what do you have there? We're going to learn more about that, but let's not force people out of the mainstream of society and their
Right.
ability to do their job, live their life, simply because they cannot take a vaccine.
Senator, we're just about out of time, 30 seconds, but some were saying the president on the eve of 9/11 focusing on this to shift the nation's attention away from the debacle in Afghanistan. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I think his conduct has been horrible. He has been disinterested. He has been callous. He's been hard-hearted toward the American citizens that are left in Afghanistan, toward our men and women in uniform. I think that his conduct to these families, the 13 families that lost loved ones over there, that basically, it's murder, the way that they were killed by ISIS-K. I have to tell you, I've been very disappointed. This is a guy that was elected in large part because he was to be empathetic. And the lack of empathy that he has shown has just been quite disheartening.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, always great to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.